Think of it
Otherwise, you
like
just have
this.
yourself.
You've got natural behavior here, okay? Down here, way down here. That's natural behavior. That's doing what you want to do every single day. Okay. People refer to that as entrepreneurial. I don't care for that because that makes entrepreneurial sound like a bad word. But it's natural behavior. You just do what you want, not stuff you need to do, right? And you'll do that every single day. And we talk about that. You lead generate all through the winter when you don't have any business. But then when you get business, you don't want to do it anymore because you've got enough money coming in to pay the bills and live comfortably. And I got to have fun. And I've got to enjoy the summer and all those different things during the busy season until fall hits. And then all of a sudden that business starts going down, right? And then we get back down into that natural behavior. It's like, well, now I need money, so I'm going to naturally start generating it. And that's a natural real estate roller coaster, right? The only way but I'm always hitting the ceiling up here in the same spot every single time. And I can't break through and get up out of the screen. I can't go to that next level so I can play around up here. How do I do that? So the way you do that is we got to change your natural behavior and start acting purposefully. Like Brad was saying, we have to actually, even when we don't feel like we have time to lead generate because we're servicing so much existing business, we have to really get tight and efficient to protect our time and continue to lead generate through the busy season. So when we get into the off season, the fall and the winter, let's say, we actually have business closing then too. And then we'll always have the confidence to make hires, to add new marketing techniques, to spend additional money. So we're actually reinvest in our business so that we don't continue to hit that production ceiling every year, because that's exhausting. I mean, most people when their kids are out of school or in the summer, that's when they want to take some time. But as a solo agent that's always in natural behavior, you'll never, ever be able to truly do that. I'm just sorry, it doesn't exist without sacrificing a lot of business. So what you can do is say, yes, you need to be there for your family, and you will, but your business will definitely take a huge hit because of it. And that's a terrible business model to be on. The only way to generate business is to work more and be away from your family. The only way to get up enough momentum to go up through that, though, is to do more unnatural behavior, be purposeful when you don't need it, to generate enough momentum to get a lot of velocity going. Because now you're going to have so much business, you're going to be forced to hire an administrative assistant, forced to bring on buyer's agents, able to pay for more lead sources. And you will break through that ceiling and start playing around at the next level. And most agents, most successful people do that over and over again. The ones that are successful, they learn how to break through those different ceilings. Now they're going to maybe hire a general manager to run their team, or maybe they invest and open up a mortgage company. All uncomfortable. They keep working when they don't need to. And then pretty soon,
the largest thing that you come across by doing that is people have a hard time because they feel guilty by giving up their family time or giving up that. And so they'll come to you as a coaching client and say, no, I'm just not going to do that.
I got to put family first. I got to put family first.
I got to put family first, uncontrollable. And so that's a hard thing as a coach, because you kind of sound a little cold-hearted, but you're not. You got to put it in a way like, I want you to be there for your kids, but you're going to have to
put family first.
You have to be
I'm putting family first, not you.
I'm putting family first right?
You're going to put your family right out of college. You're going to put
and you'll have a lot of agent pressure on doing that too, just coming from that world. Cause I did that. People are like, I just can't believe you just, get up from Christmas dinner and go show a house. Yeah, I am. Because why? Because I have to break through this ceiling. Once I'm through, now I can go do whatever the hell I want. Cause I can hire an admin. I can do stuff. I can grow a team. I can have a business. Right. But for a little while, and you got to get their family on board. You got to get their spouses on board. You got guys, it's just part of life. I'm going to do as best I can. If you look at any photographs from me on Facebook, Brian knows this. I'll go like in my suit and tie at my daughter's cheerleading camp or practice or whatever, right? I might be there at noon, not 11:30 when it started, but I tried. I did something. I had to break through that ceiling though. So a lot of solo agents, they'll get that same way. So it's a very delicate thing as a coach, because you can kind of sound bad and they're like, I don't have time for coaching. I don't have time for this. I don't want to do this anymore. And they quit. Right. So it's kind of it's something
Family is
that we
the
all have to
reason to
learn.
quit and throw their family under the bus. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
family presence that they feel that they need short term, but there's three little pigs, right? There's the first pig and there's a third pig, you know, and oftentimes the second pig will masquerade as the third pig when they're really the first pig. But you're going to build your house out of bricks, man, be there and continue to provide for your family. Sometimes you do have to go to work and make exceptions to the rule. And that's very hard to teach people. Here's how I teach it to them, especially to leaders. What I'll say is I will give them this speech not directed at them. I will give it to the leader as to how they can explain it to their agents, right? So I'm talking through them to their agents. And then when I'm done, I'll look at the leader and say, now, what do you think you can be doing to being purposeful? Maybe you need to be recruiting more. Maybe you need to be, out having more strategic appointments with, different people. Maybe you yourself should be lead generating for listings or, doing drop bys with your SOI or whatever the heck you're doing. But I always start with our leadership clients talking about how they can present this to their agents to keep them busy when we move in transition in spring into the harvest season. So it's always that transition from slow season to harvest season. It's always right there, and they're out of shape and they're tired, and you got to tell them they're out of shape. They have to be self-aware that they're out of shape. You know what I mean? If they want to quit, they're just tired. I just want to handle it now. And then they come up with all the time excuses, graduations and swim meets and blah.
Yeah. I'm burnt out. I mean, I'm dealing with that a lot right now. Like, I'm burnt out. And they actually show up angry and they're like upset. And
that's why you hired me.
Come down. It's a tough time. This time of year is probably a lot harder to be a coach than it is in like December and January.
And a leader.
You got to be a freaking therapist. You got to be you have to major empathy, and you kind of have to kick him in the ass a little bit, right? Like I just told that girl today, I said, listen, I'm going to be on your ass about this. So don't get mad at me, right?
This is what you hire me for. This is what you hire me. You don't hire me to tell you to do things that you want when you want to do.
I know you. Yeah, I said, she goes, well, everybody knows that I'm hiring. I said, well, so many people know that you're hiring. Why aren't they banging down?
Knocking down the door. Then you got another problem.
And then she's like, you know what? You bring up a good point. So I said, there's a reason, right? Maybe you think you're doing better than you really are, right?
Yeah, you guys gave me another video because I had this conversation with somebody this week. Like, hey, people tell me because I'm blunt and I tell them like you're kind of mean. No, I actually care more about your family than you do because you aren't willing to tell them what they need to go do or point out their purpose. Who's going to get them a paycheck?
Right.
So, and then
it's the way that you present it. You have to always say, hey, can I share observation with you? Can I just be frank? Can I just be honest? Can I have the floor? Something like that. And when they say yes, they have no power. They have tornadoes. They're flooded. They've got this much water in all their houses. Her listings are all underwater right now. Like, she's done. So how do you think that coaching call went? It went not the same, right? Because I can't say anything, but she's sitting there saying, well, I don't have any power. I don't have any phone. I might as well just, not make my coaching call. And I said, let me tell you a funny story, an example of this. When I coached a guy in Houston, he's a very successful agent, still is. He's got 25% of the market. He sells probably about 2,000, 3,000 units a year, right? He called me and said, hey, we're on the hurricane. We've got I have 35 listings. Many of them don't have roofs. Like, what should we do? I said, this is the time. Remember when coach told you to make a vendors list of all the people, electricians, roofers, window repairmen, boat repairmen, tree trimmers, all these things. Now let's do what we should be doing. Let's call our database, right? Call everybody in your sphere of influence, get your team around you, get all these people around you, start talking to your sphere of influence, offering your services. Hey, I know it's a tough time. You don't even have internet access. If you need a roofer, you need a plumber, you need somebody like this, I got these people for you. How are you doing? Checking in on them, doing all this stuff. That particular team did that, right? And they took 3 hours out of their day in a hurricane, right? And they got 22 listings as soon as the flood waters receded, right? And the people in the South right now that are like that, I coached several of them, but they don't have any power, right? So I had them all doing that. I said, if you're not building that business to business referral network, you're really leaving so much money on the table, because Bob the roofer, who's roofing 80 or 90 houses a week or a month, right? He's talking to a lot more sellers than that past client that you just sold who's doing something else, right? People in those trades, they understand lead generation, lead follow-up, marketing, organizational charts, budgets, everything that we do. So you getting them on your side to go out there and hunt for you and find people that want to sell their house, just as long as you promote their business too, and you're coming from contribution to all your people in your centers of influence, that's what you could be doing. So don't just shut down because of a natural disaster or whatever that might be. There's always something that you can be coming from contribution with your database to make things happen.